Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And tonight, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is a Saint Agnes High School great from Long Island. That's right, we're going back out to the island on this one. He was teammates with the most mentioned baller on Basketball Heads, Billy Donovan. With his 6'7" physique, he would clog up the middle and make the post position his home, where he punished the competition for 4 years at Saint Agnes. In his senior year, he helped lead Saint Agnes to a Long Island Catholic High School championship in 1982. College letters started to pour in, and his basketball head chose to attend Fordham University in the Bronx. During his years at Fordham, he would put in the work to be considered one of the best big men in the conference, but felt left out after he didn't get drafted in the NBA. But fortunes returned when his basketball head was drafted by my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. Can't hear what happened next. Without further ado, help me welcome to the show Saint Agnes great and Fordham University standout, Frank Big Red Williams.
Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. 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 Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. 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 East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
No doubt. We on, man. How's the West Coast treat you, man?
You know what, man? West Coast has been really good. It's been a whirlwind because, I found a place that I felt at home. Oakland, California is a lot like the hoods that I grew up in. Hempstead, even in the Bronx. And when you talk about competitive spirit, those brothers and sisters out here mirror what you, I, and so many other New Yorkers are used to. People are hungry. They want to use the talents that they have to be successful. And you look at, all walks of sports, be it basketball, football, baseball. There's so many greats who come out of Oakland, California. So, I've definitely been embraced. And, I always tell people I was raised in New York, but I became a man in Oakland,
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And we're going to get into that a little later because one of my favorite ballers and MCs is from Oakland, and they happen to be the same person.
Okay.
No doubt. Well, I want to say the legendary Bobby Hunter, want to give you a shout out. He said, I saw him at Fordham. He was a big package, the real deal. Salute the legend. That's the Harlem Globetrotter great. That's Harlem Globetrotter great right there, New York City royalty.
I appreciate it. I have so much respect and gratitude for all the players and the role models who come before myself that, I carry it with me every day, man. When I look back on my life, I look back on my career, I have nothing but, tremendous reverence for all the role models, my teammates, my coaches, obviously my mom, my friends, who really helped me reach my full potential. I really appreciate it.
No doubt. So this is what I like to ask all my guests when they first come on is, who introduced you to the game, Frank?
Wow. I'm going to say that on an organized level, it was my freshman basketball coach, a gentleman by the name of Gene Henderson. And up until 9th grade, I had been cut from every team I ever tried out for.
Ooh.
And a guy by the name of Gene Henderson, who, you know what, there were some political things going on, but this guy was a great coach, and he was a great role model for me. He took an interest, and he's the first person who made me believe that I could actually play the game.
No doubt. Salute to him, man. Salute. We like to salute all those people who introduce us to the game, whether it's our parents, our brothers and sisters, and most definitely our coaches. So
Absolutely.
definitely salute to all the coaches out there.
Right.
For sure. Where in Long Island are you from?
I'm from Hempstead, Terrace Avenue.
You from the Triangle.
Yeah. Yep. And,
No doubt. A lot of my kids is from out there.
Yeah. I'm probably 180 degrees away from that now, but without having that experience, there's no way I could have dealt with all the struggles and challenges that I've had to endure. So
that's real. That's real. So when did you fall in love? What age did you fall in love with the game?
You know what? I've been a basketball fan since I was 8 years old. Watching the Knicks on tape delay. They don't
know about that.
Yo, man, Walt Clyde was my favorite player. But I had mad respect for Earl Monroe, Phil Chenier, so many great players, man, that I just loved. I mean, these are my heroes. Dr. J. Dr. J is from literally my hometown. His mom lived in Hempstead. His nephew was one of my better friends. You know what I'm saying? So Dr. J played for the ABA Nets right down the street. To watch him on television, to see this guy fly like Superman through the air as a kid, that was something to aspire to be,
Listen, man, for you to see that early on is a blessing, bro. He was the first player that I fell in love with, but I didn't see him until he played for the Sixers.
Oh, okay.
Now, check this out. When Dr. J was traded to the 76ers, actually sold to the 76ers, right? The owner had no idea who he was. The owner of the 76ers.
Wow.
Just to show you how far removed the owners were back then, and probably still is to this day. So the general manager told him he's like the black Babe Ruth of baseball, of basketball, right? And he was like, all right, sign him. And that's how, the general manager convinced his owner to sign Dr. J.
Wow. Now
even seeing him play.
Was the owner Katz? Was Katz the owner?
No, not then. There was owners before them. That was the owners in the early 70s.
All right.
Early 80s and 70s, before it changed places.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So when you were coming up, who was the best player in your neighborhood? Who was the best player in Hempstead?
The best player in Hempstead was, coming up as a child, you mean?
Yes.
There was a guy in my neighborhood by the name of Tyrone Little, who was, who was a good player. He's probably 4 or 5 years older than I was, so I never really, as a youngster, got a chance to play with him. But when I became a teenager, I did. But he was, he's pretty good, about 6'3", Again, these were guys who we looked up to, that we thought maybe someday we could, get on the same court with these guys. But I had no idea what was coming in terms of our development, man. This is pretty
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I knew once your body started to transform and, you really started to focus on ball, you became one of the best players in Hempstead, if not the best player.
Yeah, I probably was, but again, I have to give credit to a lot of my teammates and my friends. One of my best friends, Ricky Coombs, who literally Ricky Coombs and I and several of our other friends would caravan around Long Island just playing basketball. And we played so much, and my body was developing. And that's one thing about big men. Big men can really accelerate the process because of their size if they have the raw ingredients. And I did, and I had the desire. So I was growing by leaps and bounds probably from age 14 to 16. I was really developing.
Wow. And you guys was hitting the summer leagues. Y'all was hitting all the summer leagues and all the courts out Long Island.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So now you're getting into high school. What made you choose Saint Agnes and not go to Hempstead High?
Well, actually, I went to Hempstead High my freshman year.
Okay.
And my coach was Gene Henderson because
Wow.
he was the guy who picked me for the freshman team. He ran Hempstead's summer program, and he became the freshman coach. So, he picked me for the team, and he knew I was raw. I didn't start the first game of my freshman year, right? We actually played Roosevelt. We won the game. I don't know. I probably had about 20 rebounds, and from that standpoint on, I started every game. And after my freshman year, he let me know about an opportunity at Saint Agnes. My mom started to explore the possibility of me going to that school, and that's how I became aware of Saint Agnes. But I believed in Gene Henderson. He believed in me, and that gave me the confidence to make the transition.
Now, coming from Hempstead, how was the transition from you going from Hempstead High to St. Agnes?
Total culture shock for me. I grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And St. Agnes was probably around 98% white, middle class to really affluent. My mom worked 2 jobs. I'm the product of a teenage mom. We had food and we had what we needed, but things were tough.
Right.
So socially, things were really tough for me at St. Agnes. From a basketball standpoint, literally, it was like going to Duke or going to Malloy or going to the Matha. I mean, it's unbelievable. I still think about how elite that program was and how it put me in a position to really accelerate intellectually about the game and from a physical standpoint over a pretty short period of time. We're talking 3 years.
So your development and what they had to offer you kind of feel like your hand in glove.
Oh, man, it was awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because I was not very disciplined in terms of just acquiescing to whatever the coach said. I would always challenge my coaches, partly because, I was an independent thinker and I did know the game. And that sometimes caused problems for me. Now, what helped me was I brought all of that competitive stuff that you get from the hood to St. Agnes. I didn't leave any of it there. So when I got on the court, I gave 100%. And I think that endeared me to my coach. But, St. Agnes was a very disciplined school and very disciplined program with the legendary Frank Morris. So, people never questioned him. I did at times, not in a derogatory manner, but, I wasn't used to that type of environment. So, yeah, every now and then we would have our battles.
What were they winning before you came?
Oh, yeah. St. Agnes was a historic program. Frank Morris had won, 300-400 games before. He probably won 300 plus games before he ever had a black player. And then,
how many championships?
Multiple state championships, Frank Morris is a legend.
I know exactly, definitely. I know exactly who he is. Yep.
So you can look at Jack Curran's resume. You can look at Morton Wooten's resume, and Frank Morris probably has a similar record, in terms of success. He was that type of guy. And but with that said, he told us that we were the best team that he ever coached. and then we lost, and he said, I said that, but you're not because you lost. But we were probably the most talented team that he ever had. Okay,
right. And y'all played a nationally ranked schedule.
We did. We did. I mean, you look at Camden, New Jersey was the preeminent team on the East Coast. Them and Dunbar.
Right.
Dunbar was also top notch. But we had 400 kids in our school, and we were a top 15 team on the East Coast. So if you're top 15 in the East Coast, including Manhattan, the Bronx, everybody, Maryland, D.C., you're pretty good. You know, my senior year, we didn't lose a game on Long Island. We went 19-0. We went undefeated in the league. You know, we blew out Long Island Lutheran, St. Dominic's. I mean, we beat all those teams, man. So, yeah.
Did you play any city teams?
I'm sorry?
Did you guys play any city teams?
Well, this is what we did. In the playoffs, we played Tolentine. They had Johnny Johnson. They had Gary Boyce.
I heard. Tell me about this.
We beat them pretty easily. And Frank Morris was such a competitive guy that our scrimmages were like games. I mean, for 2 years straight, we scrimmaged Boys High. We scrimmaged Pearl and Elmer Anderson.
I heard. First of all, I heard about that game.
Yeah,
it was legendary in the hood.
Yeah.
In 6 quarters, Pearl had 82 points.
Yo, man, listen. Pearl Washington and I almost got into a fight. I mean, you know, it was a little scuffle during the scrimmage, but all praises due. R.I.P. I mean, you talk about
Definitely a legend. Yeah.
Oh my God, man! I mean, I wish these young kids had an opportunity to see how good a high school player this guy was. You're talking about somebody who literally was like, he was like the running back on the Tennessee Titans now.
Right.
He was like that, 6'3", dribbling the ball, and he was about 205, 210 pounds. And his center of gravity was that of somebody who's 5'9". You ain't stopping.
He played like forward on defense and point guard on offense.
Yes. That was awesome. And Camden, New Jersey, playing against that team was awesome. They had Billy Thompson was the #1 player in the country.
Yeah.
Junior year. And Kevin Walls was a sophomore. You know, he probably was about 17 or 18, but he was a sophomore. I don't care what grade that guy was in. He was one of the best players in the country. And the stands were packed, man. I mean, Camden, New Jersey probably has like 2,000 or 3,000 students. And a lot of the kids that ultimately go to those nice private schools in Jersey now, they went to Camden. Michael Kidd Gilchrist's father played at Camden. You know what I'm saying? So it's unbelievable. And we went in there and literally, we probably lost by like maybe 11, 12 points. The score was like 105 to like 94. And, you know, I mean, we had 10 guys on varsity. Half of them were white boys. And the crowd was like, yo, y'all getting ready to get blowed out. And we were like, you don't know about us, but you ready to find out. And we balled.
How was the scrimmage with Ben Franklin and Walter Berry?
Ooh. Walter Berry is the best high school player I've ever played against. Yo. So
you answered one of the questions I would ask you later on. That's good. Walter Berry, facts.
Listen, man. As a 15, 16-year-old kid, I literally had nightmares, like, for 2 or 3 weeks after playing against this guy, you know, because he was so advanced for that level of basketball. I had never seen anybody block shots of players that he wasn't guarding. You know what I'm saying? So he would come across the lane and block your shot from the other side, and he was like, wait a minute, where did this guy come from?
That whole defense, you got to watch out for it.
Oh, man, he was awesome. That was a great experience. They had a really, really good team. Again, we scrimmaged them at Saint Agnes and played a full game. They might have beat us by like 2 or 3, 4. We might have beat them. But it was really close. It was really close.
What about Alexander Hamilton?
We didn't play against Alexander Hamilton. We played Cardinal Hayes. We scrimmaged them.
Okay.
And we scrimmaged All Hallows. And we scrimmaged Malloy. We actually played a scrimmage game against Malloy. that was supposed to be a scrimmage, and it was like an unofficial game, is what it was. And again, you know, I mean, they might have won by one, we might have won by a couple of points. I mean, I can honestly say that my senior year, I think we were the best high school team in New York. I mean, I'll go to my grave with that. Now, sometimes the best team doesn't always win.
Yeah.
Mark Jackson's team won my senior year. We beat them, knocked them out our junior year. But Mark and them, it was a definite upset against us. Then they won the.
Because I heard James Majors went to work.
Ooh, yo, man, he's another guy that for high school there needs to be a shrine for that kid. I mean, I've never seen somebody 6 feet tall shoot like that. You know, he wasn't a point, he wasn't a two.
And got so high off the ground too.
Oh man! And the thing about James is that James wasn't even a factor as a sophomore on the varsity. So we didn't really know who this kid was. He was special. And he had a great career at Seton Hall. So that lets you know how good he was. He's 6 feet tall. Beautiful.
Yes,
guy.
all love,
Beautiful.
all love.
Yeah.
Now I'm having this guy on next week, Kenny Hutchinson.
Kenny Hutchinson?
Yes.
Oh wow. Listen.
Tell me something about Kenny.
Listen, Kenny Hutch, had he not hurt his knee, definite NBA player. I've never seen anybody. Well, Kenny could do it, but yo, Kenny Hutchins, I think his vertical was higher than Kenny Smith's, and that's saying a lot.
Yes.
Yo, Kenny Hutchinson was 6'4" of power. He was like Hutch was probably 6'4", 185, 190, 195, and when he took off, yo, he bring the house down, man. Wasn't a real good shooter, but a real good defender, very coachable, played hard all the time. So there's no way that with those raw abilities that he wasn't ultimately going to play in the NBA. Went to Arkansas, he got hurt. But great high school player. Great player.
Definitely, definitely. So now, I'm going to get into this, fam.
All right, let's do it.
I started this show. It's not even a podcast, it's a basketball show. Started this basketball show maybe April 29th, somewhere around then. And like every week, your teammate name would come up.
Okay.
We talking about Billy Donovan. Now, I knew what kind of ball player he was.
Right.
But I never heard so many people talk about him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know those guys who are good, but a lot of people don't really brag about or mention or talk about?
Yeah.
I need a Billy Donovan Bell. His name is mentioned so much. Either, you know, somebody almost give him the business, competing with him, but mostly him just serving guys, putting guys on the hibachi and cooking them up. And it made me go back and kind of revisit his history a little bit. What was it like playing with him? And was he the player that people talk about when you played with him? Right? Can you hear me?
All right, back.
All right, cool. So what I was saying, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
That your teammate is the most mentioned guy on the show. Now, mind you, I had Kenny Anderson, Ron Strickland, John Johnson, James Majors, Gerald Green, some of the top guards in New York City history. And all of them gave him love, right? But for the most part, you hear guys just mention his name, which is crazy. Now, what I'm asking you, you played with him 4 years.
Right.
Was he the truth?
Yo, man, first of all, 1983 was an era of great players. So all of the guys who gave Billy love were superstar players. Billy Donovan, and I think he would take a lot of pride in this because Billy's a gym rat. He's a real baller. Billy was the best white boy around. Okay? And the thing about Billy that I love about this guy, and he and I are still in contact, we still communicate, is that, you know, Billy proudly came from a really good family. All right? You know, he was going to be successful in life regardless. If he was a Hall of Fame caliber coach, a great player. So everything that he has accomplished in life, he has acquired because of his love for the game. And I'll give you a story. You know Terrace Avenue, right?
Yes.
You know where I live at.
Facts.
Billy Donovan's father used to drop him off at my house. Yes. Drop him off. Billy and I are good friends. And part of the reason why
he came to the hood and played.
He came to the hood and played.
Yes. Oh, yes. Billy played at the Salvation Army. I mean, he played outside. Literally, we would play from 9 o'clock on a Friday night to 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. He was the only white boy around. And you know, he probably was a little nervous at first. But once he realized that he could go with these guys, that elevated his game to levels probably beyond he ever thought he could be. And it built trust between him and I because he knew that I had his back. He knew he could trust me. And we wanted to build like a close friendship just based on our interactions through basketball in the hood. But, man, I mean, he's very unassuming even now as a coach, but he wins all the time.
Yes.
You know,
All the time. Yes.
People don't understand why he wins. But the reason why he wins, and if they were at a practice, the guy is ultra competitive.
Great. Awesome. Then he transferred that into his coaching, which made him very successful. You know, and then when you got a guy like Frank Williams who got your back and on a post, locking everything down, it makes life a lot easier. Facts. All right. So.
Right. You know, it's interesting, man.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I was saying that I can't mention Billy Donovan without mentioning A.J. Winder and Bernard Woodside. Those are our teammates. And A.J. Winder was the head coach of our community, you know, legend at this point. He was a great role model for all of us, you know. And, you know, and he also nurtured Billy. He believed that we could be the best that we could be. And, you know, to this day, we still have very, very, very strong bonds, man, because of those fundamental fabric that were taught as youngsters by all of us, teaching each other. But there's a real strong bond there.
That's dope, man. These questions, man, I got some good questions lined up, man. For sure.
Yeah, I think that needed to happen. So
yeah.
Let's keep it
all
going.
Right, let's do this, man. All right, so I need to know, right, with all the hype being on your leading scorer, right? Mention his name again, please.
What Bernard Woodside?
Bernard Woodside, yes. Yeah, what's his name? Rick told me all about him, right?
Yeah.
And Billy Donovan. Who ass did you bust? Big men in the country, right? Billy Thompson, Walter Berry. Who did you shake down a little bit?
I mean, you know what? I mean, those guys are older than I was. So, you know, but I think what I did was whoever I played against, they always felt my physical presence. You know, even if they were better than I was, they never said, yo, I can punk this guy. You know, I played hard, and I was a natural rebounder. Rebounding is one of the few skills that translates from every level of basketball, be it middle school, freshman, high school, college, pro. I was a tremendous rebounder. And, you know, the interesting thing is I really didn't reach my full potential, even physically, until I was like a sophomore in college, where, you know, I'm playing against guys who I looked up to in high school, and I'll play them. And that was kind of, you know, that was almost unfathomable for me to kind of conceive, because generally when you are a superstar high school player, you've been that way for a long period of time. I mean, rarely do you see somebody have a come-up game kind of like I had. Now, somebody did have that career, and you mentioned him from Oakland. We're going to talk about him if you want to, because he wasn't that guy like that, man.
You let me know who that guy, who you talking about. I didn't even talk that talk, fam.
Damon Lillard.
Woo!
Yo, listen. Everybody in Oakland knew how nice Dame Lillard was, but the nation didn't know how nice he was.
Right.
I'm not gonna mention any names, but I'll say this. You know, I've been a high school coach for multiple schools for a long time, and I called one of my coaches on the East Coast. I was like, "Yo, you need to get on a plane and come check this kid out," because he wasn't recruited like that.
I know.
And my boy was like, "Yo, Red, you know I trust you 100% in talent evaluation, but I'm not their head coach, and I can't make the decision. They're recruiting somebody else right now." And that was it. I'm not going to say anything else. But, yo, listen, Damon Lillard could shoot from 23 feet in high school, just like he's doing right now. That's how his jumper was. And Damon Lillard went to a public high school in Oakland.
So I heard.
Public. The reason why he's so humble is because this kid came from the mud, man. In terms of basketball, no frills, none of this. You know, this hierarchy. I'm on this AAU. No. This dude came from mud, and he put that work in, and you see the benefits of it.
Yes, one of my favorite players, and definitely one of my favorite ball player MCs for sure.
No question.
So what schools were recruiting you after your senior year?
Definitely pretty much all of the mid-majors along the New York East Coast. St. John's recruited me a little bit, but, you know, with Walter Berry there and some other cats, I knew I wasn't going to see the court for my first couple of years. So Fordham made a really, really strong push. You know, Tom Penderson and I, who was my coach, I'm still tight with Coach now. He believed in me. He was another guy. I mean, he was really like the closest thing that I ever had to a father, to be quite honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Because he held me accountable in ways that I had never been held accountable to. But he did it with love, and that was different. You know, I played for coaches who want to discipline you, but you don't feel the love.
Back.
You know,
yep.
You know, so as a coach myself, I'm very intentional and very intimate with my players in terms of letting them know that, you know what, we can compartmentalize our relationship. This is basketball. This is men. This is one man to another showing you that I care about you as a person. I needed that because I never had a dad. And, you know, Penders was there for me several times to let me know that it was bigger than basketball. And that's what's important.
And he was my former teammate, Coach Carlton Silk Owens, led him to be the leading scorer in Rhode Island history. And then my guy, Terrence Renfield, and he went on to be the leading scorer in Texas history. So you got to know how to coach.
Tom Penders should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, I mean, he's in a lot of Hall of Fames, but I'm a basketball historian. I'm a student of the game. You know, you ask me anything about basketball over a 30, 40-year period, I probably know it. You know what I'm saying? Tom Penders was a great coach. And we beat teams that we had no business beating at Fordham.
So you guys
more than a couple.
You guys did pretty well when you guys was there, huh? How many conference championships you guys won?
We didn't win any conference championships, but we played a top 25 schedule. We played against North Carolina 2 times. with Michael Jordan. We played St. John's. We played Arkansas. We played Notre Dame. People, I mean, mid-majors are not doing that. We did that every year because he wanted us to be ready for the conference. So
Right.
he was like, yo, go play these teams. They just, not a big deal. So we beat USC. You know what I'm saying? We beat a lot of teams.
Bring the phone down. Bring the phone down. I can't see you. Bring the phone down some. There you go.
How's it?
Yep, we good. Yep. So you got to beat a lot of good schools then, man. That's good.
Listen, man. We beat Seton Hall. My first 2 years, we beat Seton Hall both years.
Wow.
When PJ Carlson was at Seton Hall, wouldn't recruit anybody on my team, and we beat them my first 2 years, my freshman, sophomore year, and there should be some type of documentary on this, man. John Morton ultimately went to Seton Hall. Fordham was the only school that was recruiting him out of Walton early on.
Wow.
I mean, at the end of the year, then everybody wanted him. But Fordham Pennis recognized how good he was early on. And, I mean, I was cheesing because I know I was good for another 5 or 6 points a game.
That's right.
Listen, that guy is real. As a high school player, you kidding me?
My guy Frank is on the West Coast. I don't know what kind of weather they're having right now. I know they're having some kind of fires and things going on right now on the West Coast. So we're going to kind of reschedule this and do it the right way because I want to give my guests the proper respect and make sure that their stories are told. So tune in next week because it's going down next week. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out. You got Kenny Hutchinson coming next week. New York City legend. So God bless.